And I think that AI can be a great supplement versus, just saying, look, I don't want to use AI or just solely relying on AI. I think it can be actually a useful supplement if done correctly.
How do you think mental health and counseling and therapy has evolved and changed over the last 20 some odd years?
I feel like it's changed in the last 3,
True. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, again, there is a stigma. There has always been that stigma. And I think that, at least in my view, I think that stigma is reducing slightly, right? Particularly in communities of color. I'm starting to see a lot more people be more eager to, reach out for that support.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And not just over the 20 years, but remember the pandemic?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Telehealth really came on. I feel like, it was already in existence, of course, but at least with my practice, it really pivoted towards telehealth during the pandemic.
Right.
Yeah. Let's talk about AI therapy. So let's say it fills a void temporarily. Somebody calls and they are, hear some great affirmations, and it holds them over for a while,
right.
And so till they get to a therapist. Okay. However, when that person begins to depend on the AI, the bot,
Right.
and begin to interact as if they're real, that's where it gets dangerous, because there's no human connection, there's no intuition, there's no insight from the bot. But you can't program them to be intuitive,
right?
To have insight, so that if someone says, I just want to lay on the beach and just stay there forever, they're going to say, oh, go ahead.
Exactly.
Whereas the 4 of us will be like, oh, tell me more about that.
Right.
Because intuition lets us know something else is behind that.
Right.
Yeah.
And we investigate.
Yeah.
So like you said, we have to be very careful in talking to our students more about how to intervene, when it comes to AI.
I think it goes back to when we were talking about what is therapy, right? What is counseling? And there is value in the exchange of information. And I think that's where there is value in AI and in some of the apps where they can get information, right? It is a resource. And I think we all could speak to where we know that there are deserts, resource deserts, where there aren't enough counselors, there aren't enough availability to meet the demand, right? And so having places where folks can go for resources is important. But the crux, the fundamental piece of what counseling is, at least what I feel like it is that relationship. Like the work happens because of the relationship. And to your point, Cleo, like that's missing in that AI, in those apps. You don't have the relationship. And I think we're already dealing with a world where relationship is missing, connection is missing, and trying to substitute a quick fix for what relationship really is the key is where we're gonna miss the boat, and we're gonna have a lot of folks that may get information that can be helpful, but to really benefit from counseling and do the work, get have the long-term benefits that we want our clients and our students to get from our time in counseling. They're not going to get that. But it's a distinction that they may not realize because they don't understand the nuances of what counseling and therapy really is.
And I think that AI can be a great supplement versus, just saying, look, I don't want to use AI or just solely relying on AI. I think it can be actually a useful supplement if done correctly, because if you already are in a vulnerable space, right, it's going to be very difficult to really rely on that emotional intelligence to, make sure that AI is going to respond to you in the way that you want it to.
I love that. Let's use it instead of making it something to abhor, because they're going to do it.
Right.
In that similar vein of like using AI and, tech support and things of that nature for therapy, we've definitely seen that growth in text-based therapy from bigger platforms. And so I'm just curious about your take on how that benefits us as therapists, how it might benefit our clients or not.
I think the accessibility is really important. So clients who can't get to us, get to our offices, right? So telehealth, but also I think it's normalizing therapy in a lot of ways on our phones. And for me, it's if with my clients, I'm like, well, you're already on your phone. It makes it easy just to hop on and connect with me via therapy. So it breaks down a lot of those barriers of being able to make it to our offices. And so from that aspect, I really like it.
But there are bigger platforms, as a result of, we talked about it earlier, COVID, the pandemic, there's just this wave of virtual therapy and now text. And, I think it helps, for our clients. Now, I don't agree that should be the only way to receive therapy. Because again, you know where I'm going, human connection. It lacks that human connection, that touch, that, I guess, imparting of ourselves to one another.
So I'm curious, and let me back up. I want to say I agree that it does address some of the accessibility issues, but I wonder if it sends a mixed message about what therapy and counseling really is, and that does that in some way undermine the work that we're trying to do if these opportunities say, oh, well, pull up an app, you can get counseling and you're done. How does that change our work?
I think it makes it a little difficult. And that's where communication, and as you were saying earlier, Leigh, education, that this isn't therapy for comprehensive therapy. It's, that providing some level of accessibility for a gap time.
I think whatever happens, it's really important that we as practitioners, as clinicians, as counselor educators, that we take an active role in determining what the next evolution looks like, rather than being kind of at the hands of whoever they is that steers the ship.
Right.
Because as you mentioned, Cleo, we've done the work. We've gotten the PhDs, we've gotten the training, we've got the experience. And, to me, I see it as a way to advocate for our clients. That we need to use our voices to help and say, you know what, we need to be really responsive to their needs, and this is what their needs are. And so we're going to adapt because that's what they need.
Right. That's good.
And thinking about, just the way that society as a whole has evolved, and we have such an emphasis on social media and the use of technology right now. And so it makes me wonder what you all have seen in the way different generations are approaching counseling and therapy. What are you all seeing?
I'm seeing a lot of younger clients coming to therapy, and they're excited to tell everyone about it. Right? My therapist said. I can't make that decision until I talk to my therapist.
Right.
And so I think that the younger generation, it's they don't. I talk about confidentiality, and they don't seem to care, right? It's like, well, I tell everybody I'm in therapy anyway. Whereas I think the older generation, they're more traditional in the sense that, and they at least in my practice, they ask me more questions on the front end. They do their homework about what type of service are you going to offer, what type of, what's your approach look like. And it's just an interesting dynamic there, a little different. So
I love the distinction you made between the generations. Because, I'll have, my younger clients in public, hey, Dr. Cleo, hey, this is my therapist.
Right.
You should talk to her. I'm like, okay, that's not what we do in public. But my older clients, it's like they see me and they don't see me. But, it's fine. But that's a really big difference. They're like, oh yeah, I see a therapist. And it's kind of cool.
Right. it's been fun working with older clients who had that stigma, right? Or had that their hands, they kind of kept therapy at a distance for a bit to say like, this is not for me, right? And I've lived my X amount of years already without therapy. Yeah. But people who are more compelled to, start therapy now, and like you said, kind of do the work, right, on the front end, and because they're now taking it serious. Okay, let me see if this is going to work for me, really,
right.
And so really taking it serious in the front end.